Hey, what's up, everybody? So, the mainstream media is really putting the tariff narrative in high gear. It looks like they want to bring the market down, the stock market. And as a result of the stock market continuing to come down, that sucks the liquidity out. So then people have to sell their higher risk assets like crypto um, to cover the losses or whatever. So it looks like to me that they're really, really trying to bring the market down with the tariff narrative. But I don't think it's going to last long. I think once the tariffs are in place, people are going to realize, you know what? The world hasn't ended yet. Kind of like Y2K. Everyone thought the world was going to end on Y2K, and then it happened, and then nothing happened. So once the tariffs go into place, once they last a couple weeks, people are going to forget about it and they're going to move on with their lives, just like COVID. Remember how everybody was fixated on COVID? COVID, oh my God, it's going to ruin everything. And it kind of did for a little bit. But that was all by design, and that was by the deep state players. And they harped on it for as long as they could. But people eventually realized, you know what? There's not really anything to be worried about. Same thing with I think is going to happen with the tariffs. Yeah, the tariffs. Um, I believe the tariffs are not causing the crash. I believe they're using the tariffs as the narrative as to why the market's coming down. The market's coming down from many different factors. Some of it could be panic selling because of the narrative, the tariff, not directly from the tariff, but the narrative that causes the fear around the tariffs. That's what causes the market to come down. And if they want the market to come down, they'll do it. But what I'm saying is, I don't think it's going to last a long time. I think the tariff situation that's bringing the stock market down and inadvertently bringing crypto down will eventually cool off, and we will eventually bottom out. And then because as prices come down, is it really warranted? Because you look at all the bad stuff and then you look at all the good stuff, like the regulations, crypto being a brand new asset class, having our first president who actually embraces crypto, implementing the utility value of what crypto is, getting rid of the choke point 2.0, the SEC, and loony actors like Elizabeth Warren all over our crypto. So there's so much to look forward to for the future of crypto, right? So this is just a short term. Nobody could have expected, you know, all of this to go down, but we're sort of in a short term kind of FUD environment, right? People have a lot of fear because the mainstream media is telling them to feel afraid because we had a 25% tariff on car imports, right? And then people get uncertain, like, well, what's going to happen with the stock market? What's going to happen with my 401k, right? And then you have, doubt, right? So people are doubting that good times will return. So, but here's the good news. The good news is we're still in our range, right? The bad news is it's looking a little bit droopy. You know what I mean? It's looking a little bit droopy, a little bit sad, a little bit head and shoulders-y. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of see right here. A lot of people are looking at this like a head and shoulders, and I don't think it is. I think if anything is a head and shoulder, I think this shoulder, head, shoulder. This to me looks more qualified to be a head and shoulders. And if that is the head and shoulders, then how would I draw my neckline here? Because it's a little bit awkward, it's kind of a little bit of a swoop here. But really, if this is a head and shoulders, then the measured move of this would be approximately $1.30. So if it's the larger head and shoulders up here, then you're talking probably going to be closer to $1. Let's see, or $1.15 rather. Yeah, so about $1.15, $1.20. So you're looking at between $1.15, $1.18, and $1.30, right? But you also have this is in the event we break down, and just because XRP is in a situation where it, if you look at it zoomed out, XRP is in a situation where it can really accelerate to the upside. Why? Because you've completed 7 years worth of structure to get to this point. But as soon as we get to this point, as soon as we get to the finish line, right? Right here, as soon as you get to the finish line, that's when all of a sudden you get all this crap coming out with tariffs and all that, because this is where we are, right? This is XRP right here, right? So just like, all of the examples before it, right? You have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. You go sideways, you break out, you range for a little while, and then you continue. That's exactly what happened with XRP, only it's much, much bigger than over here. It's more than twice as big. Actually, it's even bigger than that. It's way bigger, because this is the daily chart and this is the weekly chart. So you want to say, well, most likely 7 times as big. So it's much more impactful where it is. But yeah, so we had the rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, right? We got up here, we're chilling here, just like back over here, waiting to get that extension. But what's happening? The stock market's coming down because of the narrative associated with the tariffs, right? So it kind of puts us in a situation where, you have bigger forces at play other than the structure of the XRP chart, because XRP is just a standalone asset, right? This is not affecting just XRP. This is everything. This is global liquidity status, right? So it just kind of sucks that once you get to this area, that's when all of these situations start to come, right? XRP invested 7+ years of its life creating this structure to get to this moment, only to, once you get to this very moment, other forces in which XRP, the asset, cannot control, are sort of weighing it down. But I still don't think that it's just going to collapse and we're just going to have a free-for-all. But this video, we're going to talk about the what if we do break below that range, does it disqualify this whole thing? I don't think it does. And I really don't. And I'll tell you why. First of all, we're still, basically the chart came down to here, right? So it looks pretty, I don't know. It doesn't look as good, right? So, either that this is now like, here's the flat here, here's the flat there, right? And then you have this 3-way move up. I'm wondering if that is this 3-way move here, boom, right? So you have boom, 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 right? Then you come down, then you come down, then you make your way back up, right? You work your way back up. But look, this was more like, had more waves in it, had more strength. This was just a 3-way pullback, right? But then look what happened here. You had this big drop, and it came down in 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It flagged out, right? So we had a big drop. It didn't take the low. So that's the thing. Here's the low. Let me change the color. There's the low right there. Here's the low. So as long as we don't break this low, this fractal could be, in play here for this range. So when we look at XRP,
it is still extremely a beautiful chart, and I have extremely high hopes for XRP. Now, that doesn't mean we can't break the range to the downside. And if we do break it to the downside, then what sort of damage do we do? How can we recover? Things like that. Well, if we do break to the downside, we still have, to me, it can't last that long. Otherwise, it takes away from its fourth wave degree. Unless the fifth, because the way we have it here, right, is that this is a flat, right? That's a flat, and now it's kind of consolidating, getting ready to gear up. I mean, that's just in a nutshell, right? But if this starts to come down, let's go to the smaller time frames here, which I don't think it's going to come down this week. I don't think it's going to come down this week. I think we're oversold here. I think we need a pullback. And now here's the thing. You don't have to know right this second if we're going to break down, because the market will tell us, right? It'll give us clues and indicators before that happens. And most of the time, when you start from way up here and you come down to support, you just exerted all of this energy, that length in time. So in order to reset that, right, in order to, like, let's say the market wants to break down, in order to do that, you have to sort of pull back a little bit before then coming down. So this is the area that the pullback, right? Is it, now that's the thing, is it going to be weak or is it going to be strong? You could see this right here was very strong. That was very strong. This was very strong. This was very strong. This was very, all of the bounce off of the supports have all been so far pretty strong, right? You can see that's pretty strong. Bounce off support. That one was a little weak, but this one was strong. This one was strong. So we haven't even got to the support yet, and we're already kind of holding in here, right? So if we do have to come down a little bit more to support, the big thing is we want to see a bounce. Now, does the bounce look strong or does it look weak? Does it look like it's a bear flag and it's flagging out like this? If we get this, I'm going to be very concerned, right? So it's going to be all about what we get after we bottom and after we bounce. I don't think we're just going to collapse like this. It's just not going to, I just don't see that unless there's a big black swan event that just wipes out everything. This is not likely, right? So look at the support here. You have support, 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 right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 times. Okay, so we haven't hit it yet, right? So if we do hit it, or maybe we don't hit it, but if we do, how does it bounce? How does it react off of it? Does it react weak or does it react strong? Does it act corrective or does it act impulsive? And based on that, that will be the tell, because, that would then be 6, 7 times. Okay, versus having it, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 5 hits and actually 6. So you actually do have kind of the same amount as you do down here. But it seems like there's more down here, right? Because to me, it seems the line is more straight down here, right? So that's where the more liquidity rests, right? So if you take this line right there, right? So where is market makers will target where the liquidity is, right? So you could see they poked in here, they grabbed the liquidity, they poked here again, they poked here again, right? So they're stabbing the range. They're trying to soak the liquidity. You could see right here they did it as well from the opposite end, right? So as long as we're in this range, we just have to remain neutral, right? We have to remain neutral in this range. So Um, let's zoom in a little bit here. Let's go. So yeah, my trade, I got in, I got stopped out. If anyone was wondering, I got in right here at 215, 27, no, yeah, 215 or 16. And we had a little bit of a bounce, and then we came down, and then I got stopped out. But hey, I took the shot, and so we have another bounce here, right? And we do have a lot of we do have 5 waves, guys. So I think we're almost done. For when I say we're almost done, I mean for this time frame, right? That could mean, you know, something like this, and then hit the low, right? I mean, that could literally be that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, but I think we're done for a little while, at least for a couple days. At least for a couple days, I think we're getting really close to being finished. Um, and then once we're finished, we want to look for a bounce. And again, how does it bounce? And that's what we're going to look for. But you could see we got so I'm just going to count this wave here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 waves down, right? So you could look at this like 1, 2, all of that's 3. Then maybe we're getting 4, and then we get 5. Where's our line at? Okay, yeah, there's our line right there at $1.99. So we could see 1, 2, all of that's 3. Maybe we flag out for a 4 over the weekend a little bit, and then we come down and hit 5. And then that's when we get that big bounce off. If we get a bounce like that, that'll be great. But if we get a bounce like if it's all weak and kind of pathetic like this, then, it could be a little bit concerning. So, but at the end of the day, there's no one I would rather be than Theta holders have gotten killed. Ethereum holders killed. Matic, all these guys, all the altcoins have been obliterated. XRP, on the other hand, has been very, very well. I mean, look, we're still up dramatically from where we are, guys. Remember, we spent years down here, guys. We spent years, guys, going sideways. We blasted off, and guess what we're doing? We're going sideways again. That's how it rolls, right? So let's take a look at some of this sideways action in here. Let's remove all that, and you can see right here we were going sideways for a while, and then we kind of broke down. But look what happened when we broke down. This is a good example of a range that broke, and this is what I've never showed this before, but this is kind of my sneaky intuition of what I think could be potentially happening here, only because of the tariffs and because of the narrative in the stock market, and people are afraid, right? And liquidity could be, because we still have inflation, we still have poor economic numbers, we got the tariffs. There's a lot of reasons why the traditional investor, the stock market investor, the old 70-year-old man doing his retirement, that type of crowd, right? The Fox business crowd. There's a lot of fear there, right? So I want you to look at this range here. All right. And I want you to notice what happened. All right. Now let's go back up here. Now I'm not saying they're exactly alike. They're not a fractal. It's not a fractal, right? But still, you could see what it did, right? Which, we were going up, right? We're going up. We had a dump. We had a retrace. We had a retrace that took the high. And then we came down pretty aggressively. Boom, right? Came down. Whoops. So, this move here, right? Move here. And then we kind of got a little bit of a bounce. And then look what did happen. We flushed the low, right? So what if we flush the low and then we continue higher? I think that would be one of the biggest bear traps, because that's what I'm very skeptical about what's going on here. Because think about the tariff like COVID, right? Remember when we had COVID back over here? This was way, let me tell you something, guys. Let me tell you. COVID was on another level, on another 50 levels more than the tariffs. The tariffs are like, okay, you're going to pay a little bit more money there and there for certain things that, because the economy is already slow, the tariffs are just going to make it worse. But it's not like that. The tariffs are a deterrent. The tariffs are it's like pest control, right? You have a lot of ants at your house, you spray it, right? That's what tariffs are. It's a deterrent. It's deterring these countries from ripping us off. Number one, we have to have a fair trade, right? And we have no choice. This is not like, oh, we can do it, we don't have to do it. We don't have a choice. We have to do it. If you're paying $1,000 in, like, for example, let's say you're paying $1,000 in rent, and then your roommate is charging you an additional 20% just to live there, don't you think you would charge him an additional 20% as well to live there as well? I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all, but you see what I mean? Like, it just makes no sense. Like, we need the tariff to balance out the trade deficit, to take in money, and basically to just make things even, right? And as we transition from this paper system, this fiat currency enslavement system, into a new digital crypto gold system, right? We we will transition into a new currency. Now, I'm not saying that. That's people are way above my pay grade are saying this, right? Check out Lynette Zhang. She this is what she does all day long, right? And not even her, but check out X22 report. Check out. I mean, there's a lot of them out there. Um, but anyways, you could see what happened with COVID. We had a major correction, right? So COVID again is on another level of tariff. This is the world shutting down. This is schools shutting down, businesses shutting down, airplanes shutting. This is the world stopping. And look, that's what we got. We got the mega dump. But guess what? That mega dump kicked off the greatest bull run in history. Okay? That was back over here, right? This is Bitcoin. We had a massive collapse. Okay? So, if we get something like this, maybe not to that degree, but something like that, this is like capitulation, right? And there's so much fear because, people were, if you remember back in March 2020, people were afraid that they would never go back to work, that we would be living like zombies in our house for the next 5 years with masks on, right? It was like pandemonium. People had mental breakdowns. Okay, so that situation was much worse than the tariffs, like a car tariff or putting a tariff on whiskey or no. This is way worse, right? COVID. But what I'm saying is, look what we did. We bottomed and we continued. That was the bottom. That marked the bottom. This was a bear trap, guys. Look, we were up here. We were going up, 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 up. This was a bull trap, by the way. And then we started coming down and down and down and down. And once we took that low right here, it became the trap, right? And basically the whole world was crashing. We're done for. And we should expect a lot worse because people can't even afford anything, everything shut down. So small businesses were shut down. I mean, how could they pay for groceries? I mean, this was pandemonium, right? But again, it was a bear trap, and that was marked the bottom. And then that was when we continue higher. So what if that's exactly what's happening now, right? First of all, we haven't even back tested the top of this yet, right? We haven't even got down there yet, right? So, the tariff, and not only that, but people already know about the tariffs. It's not like it's old. It's not like it's new. Everybody understands that it's here. It's coming. On April 2nd, it's here. So the market, you could see, is pricing it in. Even from back up here. People knew about the tariffs up here, right? So Trump took office, we went up, And then he says, okay, let's get the tariffs. We stopped and now we're coming down. But now people already know about it. It's not like it's new, right? This is old news. So now we're just seeing the after effects, right? Because we're not going to see anything new come in unless we get worse economic numbers, right? So every month we get GDP, or every quarter we get GDP numbers, we get unemployment numbers, we get a CPI number, we get all these numbers, right? So those numbers could make this worse, but I don't think the tariffs are going to make it worse unless we have a bigger move down in the stock market. Let me look at the stock market here. So SPX. I want to see the features. Do we have the features here? Oh, whatever. Yeah, it doesn't look finished to me though. I think we're gonna have more downside. I don't think this is finished. It doesn't look finished at all, right? I mean, you have basically one wave down, you have a pullback, and you're beginning to start another wave. So we don't even have a three-wave move unless you say this is a flat, which I think it could be, right? So you have move up, a three-wave move up, and then back down. This could be an expanded flat, and this could be a 1-2. So it really depends. If we hold below, then maybe we can establish a retrace. But I don't know. It looks a little bit weak. Let's take a look at RTY. So this is the Russell. Basically, this is like the stock market, but it's the smaller cap stocks. And you can see, so basically the thesis, at least for BCB, I have questions about it, but Blockchain Backer's thesis is that we will have a rotation out of the large cap into the small caps, right? So we could see this thing, come up, and because we look, anytime you have a move down, you get a retrace, right? So if you're worried about your portfolio and you're thinking about selling because you don't want you don't, like for example XRP, the range will break to the downside, you want to sell it before it does that. I mean, you could do that, but a percentage at least. But the best way to do it, in my opinion, is doing in a retrace, right? So this is a move down. Maybe the move's not finished. Maybe it's got to go a little bit more. Maybe even a little bit more. But eventually, you're going to get a retrace. You're going to get a move up, right? That's when you sell it, if you're going to sell it. Always in the retraces. So, like this, for example, right? You had a big move down, but then you had a three-wave move retrace. This was your retracement. And that was the point to sell. And then look what happened. You had a massive dump down, right? So, was that COVID? Yeah, that was COVID actually. So the smart money knew COVID even before over here, right? It was getting priced in before it even happened. It's crazy how things like that play out. But anyway, let's go back and let's look at some charts. Like, we were looking at SHIB the other day, and when you look at it, you can see this is our, let's go up a little bit here. You can see this is our move down, right? And you could see we have these counter trend rallies, counter trend rally, counter trend rally, counter trend rally. So that's all part of one wave. Once this bottoms, maybe we have another low, but once it bottoms, we should get a retracement, and during a three-wave retrace, right? So if the world is truly going to fall apart, it needs to do so from a higher point. Now, you could have already said this is the crash, this is the retrace, and now we're on our way down. And that could be the truth. But I would very much pause, because we have a lot of support down here, and we've just barely been testing it. right? So it's not like we've been testing it for a while. So you could see when we come down, right? If volatility slows down and we have this downward, you know, trend line, and then we come down again, well, now you're sort of creating this descending triangle pattern, which then would look like it would definitely break down, right? But getting a three wave up and a three wave down. I mean, this is a beautiful 1 year three wave pullback. That's why I'm very skeptical about this, right? Because look what the media wants us to be afraid. They are the driving force of the narrative, right? So we have to understand, why are they doing this? Why are they? Because it's all about Trump, right? They will destroy your portfolio just to make Trump look bad, so that to punish you for voting for him. That's how sick these people are, right? Um, but again, I think this environment will be short lived, right? When Trump became president, let me go back to the stock market here. Let's go to the Dow, right? When Trump became president, he needs to disassociate himself with the previous administration, right? So think about this. You're President Trump, okay? You're going to have an economic transition out of the old system into a new system, and the stock market's been going up in your presidency. So if we're going to have a transition, to me, I would want it to start, because you only have 4 years, right? 4 years is not a lot of time. That's like 30,000 minutes, I think. It's not that much. Um, so you would want, if that's the case, you would want the market to come down so that it can go back up later. You don't want to continue the bubble, right? Because let's say you continue it, and then by the time you have a year left, and then that's when you crash. You know what I mean? That's not what you want. You want it to come down now. You want the market to reset itself. Because again, you go back to COVID, back over here, this was a reset. And getting a reset like this allows the market to continue. It flushes out all the liquidity, it resets everything, right? So we haven't had anything remotely. This was end of the world virus killing everybody. This is 25% tariffs on your cars. I mean, there's no comparison, right? But this could get a lot worse. So, but the fact that it's kind of, it's given me a three-way pullback here, which, you have an uptrend, right? You're going up, you get a three-way pullback. I mean, come on, it to me, it looks like either this is going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that's your C wave, and then we come up in a retrace, or we get 5 waves up and even take the high, right? So, but if they're gonna continue the push for the tariff fear narrative, then they could bring the market back down. Most likely, it will go down to this area right. Yeah, right there. So about 39, about, let's say 40,000 Dow. I think that's kind of where we're heading. We're going back to 40,000. Meanwhile, gold is continuing to rip higher and higher and higher and higher every day. So I wish I had more gold, man. I have a little bit of gold, but gold's always been so slow and so just painful to hold. I actually got into gold back here. Believe it or not, that's when I got into gold, and I've been buying it since COVID, right in here. After COVID, I stopped buying gold because I just wanted to wait and see. But let's take a look at
dominance for Tether. Yeah, it kind of looks a little bad because you got a double bottom here. So we don't want this high to get taken. I mean, I guess it could because it'd be a three-way move. So you would have like 1, 2, 3. This looks like 4 and 5. And then maybe you get like a three-way pullback and then a continuation down. This just an idea, to look at here. Um, T drop. I mean, this is just holding barely here. You're kind of getting a three-wave shape, right? So you got 3 up, you're getting 3 down, and we know the 3 up, 3 down rule, right? The 3 up, 3 down model. Nobody talks about it, but it works pretty well. Um, so let's go back to XRP, and then we'll finish that, and then we'll take a look at a couple altcoins here. That's not right. So I have to give XRP credit. I have to give XRP a pat on the back because despite all the massive carnage, I mean, look at all of these. Like, look at THETA. Look at this. We had massive carnage. Look at that crash. That is massive, guys. And the fact that XRP can hold up despite all of the stock market, the stock market making new lows, crypto making new lows, but XRP is still holding the range. That to me shows tremendous strength because typically XRP would have completely broken down by now. It would have completely broken down by now. Let's take another look. Like, look at ADA. ADA had a much, bigger dump, I believe. It was from here all the way down, right? Versus XRP, we're kind of just chilling up here. Let's see, do I have XRP up here? There we go. You can see the difference, right? XRP is kind of in this box, and THETA or ADA came down. So XRP showing tremendous strength despite all of the FUD that's currently circulating the market with all of these tariffs and the narrative they're trying to bring the market down, guys. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make people suffer so that people will call out Trump for his tariffs. That's what it's about. That's what it's all about. But I don't think it's going to go the way they imagine. I think Trump has other ideas up his sleeve. I think because I think the tariffs are going to come and then people are going to forget about it. Business, life moves on. Life goes on, right? So when you get a tariff or when you get something, people forget about it. Unless the fake news is constantly every day, tariff, 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 tariff. As long as they keep shooting that down people's throat, that's what they're going to believe, right? You can see other coins kind of like Litecoin, right? Again, you're still in this range, right? You're still kind of in this range in here. So the only coins I would be worried about are coins that are right at their support levels or coins that are hanging off a cliff, right? THETA is right at its support level. So this could get nasty. If because we don't have much support left. All we have is this move down here, and that's really it. So if it's gonna, it needs to hold relatively soon. I think that's why I think this is the bearish narrative isn't gonna last that long. Because it's already been in effect for a while. So Trump wants it quickly over with. He doesn't want crypto crashing. He doesn't want stocks crashing, right? But he wants things in place, right? And that's why I think, you're getting it done, right? It's like getting your homework done early. That way you can go out and play. That's what's happening. So, all right, let's take a look at
Like when I look at something like XLM, I mean, it looks insanely bullish still, right? Because the way I look at it is that this is an impulse, and then look at the way it's moving down. Is it crashing down? No. What is it doing? It's correcting down. It's got a nice three-wave correction. It look, it took us literally 2 candles to get to the top. But look how many candles it's taken us just to get back to the 75% of the wave. Right? That's how you know we're impulsing to the upside and we're correcting to the downside. So what I'm saying is once this correction is finished, that's when we can continue. Now, how big is that correction going to be? Well, that's a different story. I mean, it could get pretty big, but the main thing is, unfortunately, we could have a 50%, almost a 50% drop. And coincidentally, the crypto sniper, I think that's I saw his thumbnail. I didn't see his video, but I saw his thumbnail that he thinks that we could see a 50% dump in Bitcoin and XRP. So that would bring XRP down to about, it's 215. What is it, like $1.30 or so? 50% dump, something like that. Let me see real quick. So 50% to the downside, that would give us about almost $1, actually, $1.06. But if we did have a complete collapse, there's no coin I'd rather hold than XRP because of all of the support. I mean, you have this support here. And look, even if we don't make it, you still have all of this support at $1.15. This retracement block, so here's your rise, here's your crash, here's your retracement. This is a block, an order block, right? That's a very strong area, a very confluent area, about $1.15, $1.30. So if we had to bust down, people are then, what is the belief then? Definitely the bull market is over. Definitely. There's no question about it. Now everybody's on the same team. Bear, 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 down, down, down. Everybody's on the same team. Everybody's in consensus that the market is over. But guess what? That's when you just do something like that. And it happens fast. All right? It happens all the time. People think, you basically are boring. Nobody's talking about you. You blast off. Now everybody's super excited and bullish. And then you flag out. Nobody cares. You flag out a little bit more. Nobody cares. You have a retrace. People get really excited. And then you have an A, you have an A, B, C, and then you come down. Now people are nervous. Now people are freaking out. Oh, it's over. The bear market's here, right? We come back up. Now they stop talking about it, right? And then you built this range. And then what happens? If you do break down or you start breaking down, then everybody's like, okay, now for sure, the bear market is here. And then bam, it happens all the time. So sometimes the price needs to come down in order to kick off the move, right? For example, like back over here, you can see here's a range right here. This was our other range, right? And there we go. And you can see what happened. We actually broke the range back over here. So we had this nasty crash. We were flagging out like this. And by the way, this move right here, all of this flag looks like a lot of altcoins. Like it looked like what THETA looked like. Remember we were talking about THETA right over here. Remember we were talking about that? That was the flag. And we were saying this looks like it's going to have to come back down and revisit the low. Now the big question is, do we hold the low or is it going to break the low? And I said, it depends on how it comes down. Does it come down correctively or does it come down impulsively? We can see now that it's coming down extremely fast and impulsively, which increases this probability that it will take the low. So, but if we do take the low, then I'm looking at it like you have a 1, 2, you have 3 and 4, and then you have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. That would be the new way to look at it. And then you would have, this would be 1, 2, all of this would be 3, 4, and then 5. So that's a real possibility, especially how fast we're coming down. Now, typically when you move this fast, you know, you're moving too fast, basically. And a lot of times you're going to get a big bounce first before then coming back down. So let's see if we can hold in here and start getting a strong rally. If we get something like that, then that would be a 3-wave retrace. It would be a bigger, more complex 3-wave move. And that's what I think is a good possibility. But again, we're going to have to see if we can hold in this low here. So, but going back to what I was saying with XRP, right, you can see in here, look how complicated the range was, right? Remember, we went through all of this, right? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up. We had 3 waves down. We had 3 waves up, and we had 3 waves back down, right? So we had a 1, A, B, C, 2. Right? But then, you know, we had 5 up and let's flag out, but that didn't happen. We actually came down and we crashed. So we had to redo the count, which is what? Well, now it looks more like a 1, 2. We had a 1, 2, 1, 3 down, 3 up, and then 1, 2, 3 back down. So we had a 1, 2, 1, A, B, C, 2, or W, X, Y, 2. But you could see, let's take a bars pattern and put it here. And let's get rid of that. But you can see right here, we broke the range. We started breaking below the range in here. But then that's when we turned around, right? So let's go back up here. And you could see how big this range is. It's actually more than the same size. So we've had plenty of time in this range, right? So, but what I would actually do is, if this is not the top, I would actually shift it over here and say this is the top, right? It's not a fractal. It's not the same structure. It's completely different. But I'm using it basing it off of kind of where we are in time, right? So you can kind of see like this move here kind of represents this move, the dump, right? You got the 3-wave move, you come back down, you spike the high, you flush the low, you have a little bit of a pullback, and then you flush the low one more time. Maybe we flush the low one more time, we grab that liquidity, and then lights out. I'm just giving you an idea that it's definitely a possibility that something like that can play out. Especially, I always get nervous when everyone wants us to be bearish. If the fake news wants us to be bearish, if everybody is bearish, if everyone's saying the bull market is over, if everybody believes that that's the case, then it makes me wonder, well, what's the ulterior motive here? What are they trying to do? They're trying to shake out all the weak hands, right? But at the same time, there's still a lot of people that are still overly bullish and overly believing that, you know, it's going to continue. But the main thing is, are we in a bull market or a bear market? Well, we've never been in a bull market. We've only been in a bear market. So the only coin that's been in a bull market is Bitcoin, right? Even XRP hasn't even been in a bull market. XRP is at the brink of going into price discovery. So we are at the cutting edge of some major move happening. I mean, you can see just exactly where we are here, right? So we're right at this, we're basically filling in these gaps. You can see all of these gaps in here, right? So we've only, we haven't even filled in this space, right? So I think that's what we're doing. We're just kind of going sideways, filling in space, right? Building a volume profile so that when you do eventually break out and then you eventually come back down, when you come back down, now you're going to have this support system to hold you, right? So the big thing is, are we going to break this range to the downside? And if so, what would the count then be? Well, let's explore that real quick. This could be still part of a flat. It could still be part of a flat where you have 1, 2, and then you have 3 down. So it could still be part of a flat. That brings us down to that $1.50 area or whatever. You just take the length of the range here, kind of go up. Actually, let's see. Yeah. So that brings you down to about, that $1.30, $1.25 area. For some reason, I don't think we're going to go down that far. I think it would more likely be like $1.50, $1.30. So, but so the bearish thing is, the extremely bearish thing that I've been talking about for a while is that this looks like a descending triangle. Okay. If that's a descending triangle, you could see volatility slowing and we're going to break down. Usually descending triangles break to the downside, right? But, if it does break down, then now you have 1, 2, 3 waves down, right? So you could say that the wave, actually, let's get rid of this. You could say the wave, ended here, right? So we have A, this comes up in a B, and then we have 3 down, we have 3 up. Oh, I like this. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Oh, look at that. That's perfect. So before, and this still is the case, that this is a flat, right? And now we're kind of just consolidating, gearing up to go. And we're testing the bottom of the range, right? We still have more down to go. We're going to test and then continue. That's the original way. The other way is to say that this is not a flat, but rather this wave ended here. And the reason I don't like that is because the other waves ended here. Like if you look at ADA, XLM, HBAR, they all ended here, right? So that's why I have an issue with that. But let's say it did end here and you have a move down. So that would be an A, right? Actually, let me draw it professionally here. Let's do it like this. Where's my polyline? There we go. So we have this move down. That's your A, right? And then we come up, boom, boom, boom. That's your B, okay? That's your B. And then this is 1, or, okay, yeah, that would be 3 down, 1, 2, 3 down. This would be 3 up. And then now we would get 5 down. 1, 2, 3. Or that could be 3 down. But it just doesn't look proportional. 3 down. And then 4. And then 5. And then you actually would come down and you would take the low. Maybe even coming back down to the wick here. Or even a little bit further around that in the $1.60 area. Maybe somewhere around this area here. Yeah, around that $1.60 area, right? And then, but we can't spend a lot of time down here. We would have to then hurry up and get back up above this line here, something like that. Yeah, so Yeah, that would be an A, and then a B, and then 3 down, 3 up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So we would have 3 down, we would have 3 up, and then we would have 3 back down. So that would be that's going to be our new idea, our new main idea if we have to go lower, right? So again, A, B, C. A, B, C. We're getting a 3-way move down. The reason why it doesn't look so much like a 3-way move down is because you have all of this oscillation in here, and that's designed to kind of trick you. But we can easily identify the waves. So here's your A, or you could say WXY, A, and then B, and then C. And then to fill in those gaps, you have actually, yeah, I'm just gonna draw it on there. So you have, yeah, so there's your 3-way move down, right? So you could see 3 down, you could see 3 up. So maybe we only get 3 down, or more than likely it'd be 5 down. It'd be proportional with this, right? So 3 down, 3 up, 3 back down. That's the main idea right there. And then we would break below it. This is the main bearish idea. The main bearish idea. Now, the main bullish idea. Now, when I say bearish, like if we get 3 down like this, right? So 3 down, 3 up, and then 3 back down. That means we're going to get 3 down. That means what? We're going to go up and hit the high. So it's really not bearish. It's just you're sweeping the lows, right? It's a bear trap, you know? You get everybody extremely bearish. We're below $2. Everybody's panicking, and then bam, we take it right back up. So Trump moves at lightning speed. So I don't think this is gonna happen. I don't think this is gonna take that long. So, but the bullish idea is that this is still a flat. This is a 1, a 2, right? Or actually a 2 like that. And I don't even like that anymore. I just can't make sense of what this is relative to what the flat is, right? So, you know, you could see 3 down, you could see 3 up, and you could see 3 back down. So that right there is 3. So if that's a 1 and that's 2, then what is that? I don't know, you know? So it's just, it's kind of confusing on how to count that. But the way the bearish count actually makes more sense, right? So 3, right? And then you get 3 up, and then you get 3 down, 3 up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, and that becomes 3 there, right? So what would the move be? Well, we could take a trend-based fib extension from the top to the bottom, back to the top here, and the 1-to-1 extension comes in at about $1.50. So, you know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or even $1.70 if it's going to be like a 786. But what we can also do is get rid of that, and let's go trend-based extension from here to here, and then we're going to go up to here. And you can see we've already went beyond the 1618, right? So that's already taken care of. So I think 1, 2, 3, I think we're pretty much over with this wave here. And then we're going to get a little bit of a pullback, and then probably one more flush to the downside. And then once we go down, then that means we have broken the range to the downside. Everybody panics. Everybody's freaking out. Oh my God, the bear market is here. It's going to suck for the next 4 years. We're going to go into another 4-year bear market, but they don't even realize that we've already been in a bear market for the last 7 years, and we haven't even been in a bull market. So how could we go into a bear market if we've always been in a bear market? It doesn't make sense, right? All the altcoins are in bear markets. They have been in bear markets since 2021. XRP has been in a bear market since 2018. So where is this bull market stuff coming from? We're not in a bull market. A bull market means you're in price discovery, you're breaking out into new all-time highs. That is not the case for XRP. We've tagged the all-time high and even a little bit above it, but that doesn't qualify us for an actual bull run, right? Versus something like Bitcoin. So there you go. Because again, you look at something like Theta, I mean, look how massive this is. I mean, we've been falling for a long, long time. And where is the bad news coming at? The bad news is coming down here. What is the bad news? The tariffs, the tariffs, the tariffs, inflation, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff is happening down here. Well, guess what? That to me tells me we're probably almost finished. Now, I think we could break the low here. I think we could break the low. But I think that would be really pushing it by then, you know, again, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 1, 2, all of that's 3, that's 4, then we get 5. I mean, that seems like the most rational to me. But here's the thing, once we get that fifth wave, that's when XRP breaks down, right? And then once it breaks down, everyone's going to say, okay, here's the bear market. It's officially here. But then that actually marks the bottom, and then that's when we go into our retracement, because I am expecting a retrace for Theta, right? Anytime you get a 3-wave move down. Now, if this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a lot different, right? Now you're impulsing down. That's the difference between a 5 and a 3. But this looks like 3 all day long right in here. So if we got a little bit more down, so be it. But ultimately, we should expect a retrace back to these retrace levels back up here. So that would be, you know, back up into these levels. So I think, you know, again, this is not an ordinary president. This is not an ordinary time, right? I wish it was. I wish it was for XRP's sake, you know. If it was a boring situation, then it could really play out nicely. But we're having to go through all of this crap, and I think it'll come to a head soon. But if you look at near, right, you got this impulse and you got this 3-way pullback. Now, is the 3-way pullback finished? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be. Or you can get one more wave down, make it 7, right? Yeah, and then because the market is already like pissed off. The market is already like, oh my God, we've lost a lot. But if we have another low, then the market's really going to be accelerated, and I think it's going to push people to the edge. And I think that's when we're going to really get a true bottom here, a capitulation bottom. Because this looked really nice like a bottom, but look, it's followed by this bearish engulfing candle. So, same thing with ADA. You can see it kind of looks, you know, like a descending triangle here, right? And that's a very bearish thing. When volatility slows down, you just kind of go off a cliff, right? And I've seen examples like that before. Where have I seen that where I can show you? I've seen that right over here. Look, right over here. You could see that same thing. This is kind of like what H-bar looks like right now. You could see it's right in here, right? You see how it kind of starts to slow down? You're kind of in this descending triangle. Volatility slows down completely. You break out, you come up for one more time, and then you have a massive collapse, right? So you know, we could see something like that, unfortunately. But even if we had a massive collapse, and it's already breaking down, look at that. It's already breaking down. See? There's we were looking at ADA, but this is H-bar. H-bar is already broken down. You can see that same kind of thing where volatility slows down, boom, you get the move down, right? So this could, we could have some more downside. But here's the thing. If you think crypto is done for, then you should just sell it all right now, right? If you are excited about the crypto future, we have to deal with all of this tariff crap right now. But just like COVID, just like everything else, we all get over it. Remember, China banned Bitcoin like 50 times and the market always dumps after it happened, right? But people get used to the ideas. There's only so much tariff talk people can take until they say, okay, 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 enough is enough, right? So if this has to flag out deeper down, well, then so be it. Because ultimately, we will break out to the upside. It's just bound to happen, especially with all of the excitement we're seeing. Not only that, but crypto has been down in the dumps very viciously. Look at Filecoin. We had 3 waves up and we have 3 waves down, right? And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in there. So we're super, super close to getting some kind of bounce. When everybody's bearish, that's when it's time to get bullish, right? Now, I'm not saying it's getting bullish right now, but let's see how this week plays out. If we start bottlenecking in here, that is not going to be good. We don't want to bottleneck. We want to go sideways, and we want to get a retrace. So let's see. Ethereum. I think Ethereum is almost done. I see 1, 2, and then I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I think this could be 4, and I think we could be in the 5th. So just like XRP, just like Ethereum, just like everything, I think we have another wave to the downside. And again, this is the bearish scenario. These are bearish ideas. It doesn't mean that these are the main ideas and that's just what's going to happen. This is not financial advice. I could be totally wrong, right? But I think we're getting close. Waves don't just go down like this. Eventually, you're going to get a big reversal. Like, for example, the top of here, we came down. It was a pretty big move, right? So that was the run up here. Remember, we had this big run up, and that was our first big crash right here. Okay, so if I take the size of that crash and I draw a line all the way down, right about there, and then I take this and I drag it over here, well, guess what, guys? It's almost there. I would say maybe one more little wave. I mean, we're really, really, really close to being, this is equal lengths, right? So I think they're trying to push the market down as far as they can, but I think it's becoming exhausted, to be quite honest, because the market hasn't been, oh my God, the Ethereum hasn't been this oversold on the 3-day chart since going back to this major, major dump. And that was back when FTX was collapsing and everything back in the day. Remember? Is that FTX? I think, yeah. So that was a long time ago. And then before that, that was the crash of the bear market in 2018, 2019, right? Yeah. So we are dramatically oversold, guys. I don't, so, we're due for a big bounce, but I think we're going to have another low. I think we might get one more low unless we can hold the low. Like we said, like we were talking for the bearish idea, this could hold, but it looks very weak. I mean, this looks like it's flagging out and it looks like it's going to keep going down. But if for whatever reason we hold in here, right, we could be creating some kind of structure to get us out of there. That's all it takes. That's all it takes, really. But I was on the fence that this could come up and we can, get like 3 up, 3 down, and then come back up. But what changed my mind, guys, and I'm allowed to change my mind when I see evidence, is this move. See how impulsive that was? Now, if we had this same kind of move going up as we did going down as we did going up, like this, for example, if I just take a bars pattern here and then I flip it upside down and then I put it like this, right? Maybe I should mirror it too. Let's see, is that going to work? No. Something like this, right? You can see the way it's coming down, right? If we had something like that, the way it's going up is the way it's coming down, then that's different. But yeah, Chainlink is almost there too. Like you could see, look how massive that wave is. So we're not even near the velocity of how big that wave was. But definitely this wave here. You could see how long that wave is. And if I take that up here, you could see, look at that. We're almost there. Just like with Ethereum, right? We're almost to that line there. So, XLM. Yeah, I mean, I really love this three-way pullback. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks okay. I don't really like the 1, 2. It would make more sense that this would be like 3. I'm just trying to gauge some of these waves here, right? So, like for example, algo, you could see how proportional this is. The size of this wave is roughly the size of this wave, is roughly the size of this wave. So they're all basically the same length, right? So that's something to keep in, consideration. Now for dominance is continuing to climb. Okay, we don't have an alt season until dominance falls. So the higher this goes, well, that just is going to prolong the inevitable at some point. Like AVAX, right? Look at AVAX. You got a proportional three-wave pullback. And remember, we've been going down since December. So how many days is that now? We've been going down approximately 100 days, just about. We've been going down, 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 down for the last 100 days. That's a long time to wear on people's psychology, wear on people's minds, right? So, and then once we're down, 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 that's when we get all the bad news. That's when we get the fear, the uncertainty, the doubt, the tariffs, the risk, all of these concerns are happening at the lows. Well, just like with FTX, just like with COVID, just like with, all the rest of the events that happened, it usually marked the bottom. So I think this could be the bottom. I think, for AVAX, we haven't really went down that much compared to like XRP. Like if I put XRP up, XRP had a much bigger dump, it feels like, than AVAX. But you could see AVAX, right? You had this three-wave move up, and now you came back down to support. So either we kind of bounce up and come back down a little bit, we get 3 waves up, and then we get 3 waves down. That's what I'm looking for. Now, if we take the low, then we take the low, and that's just going to add another layer, because every wave we make down, we make down, we make down. Every wave we go down significantly increases the probability of us eventually bottoming, if not already. So we just got to take a little breather, cool off a little bit, wait for the tariff talk to die down, wait for the market to kind of reset itself, and see how the price reacts during the lows, and then have a lot to look forward to, like with the stablecoin bill regulations, XRP ETF still coming out. I mean, there's a lot of things to look forward to. Now, if you're a big XRP ETF, like let's say you're BlackRock, do you want the XRP price to be high or do you want it to be low? You want it to be low so that you can buy up XRP. So maybe, we're moving down to, to get people lured in for that ETF. But at the end of the day, this is not just crypto. This is all the markets coming down because of uncertainty revolving the tariffs. That's what it's all about. But eventually that will die. That will calm down. Another topic will come up, right? Because what's controlling the media right now is the tariffs. But again, eventually that will go away. So yeah, let's see if this is 3 down, and then this is 3 up, and then we get 3 waves back down, and then we actually flush the low here, right? We have a head and shoulders here. I don't think this whole thing is a head and shoulders. And we flush the low. We get down here, $1.50, between $1.30 and $1.70. I know it's a big area, but I'm thinking more like $1.50, $1.60 area. And if we do have to flush those lows, but that would then give us 1, 2, 3 waves down. It would give us a 3-wave move down, right? Let's see if we can go up a little bit further. So when you look at it on the line chart, it actually looks a lot different. 1, 2, 3 down, and then 1, 2, 3 up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. I mean, I don't really like that because it just doesn't make a lot of sense when we look at it like that. So let's just stick with the previous example. But anyways, that'll do it for this video. Let's see what Sunday brings. We do have the weekly close. We could look at it real quick here coming up, the weekly close. I mean, it is, it is bearish, but at the same time, let's see if we can. The most important thing is having the weekly candle close above this line. Then the next candle could wick below it, and then the next candle maybe continue higher. So you could see, look at this was a fake out, 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 right? So maybe they're coming down to tease us again with it. But again, you can also see 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right? So you have, actually, you have 1, 2, 3, and then you have 1, 2, 3, and then you have 1, 2. Let's come down and get 3. If that is the bearish scenario, and that's right around that $1.50, 60 area. So let's see how that plays. All right, guys, I'll do it. I'll do it for this video. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you can hit the like, subscribe, drop a comment, let me know what you think, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.